What if your instincts could save your life? This woman threw away a perfectly good fish. 3 days later, she understood why. Vera and Sergey are in the apartment, the tension from an interrupted intimate moment still hanging in the air. Masha, Vera's daughter, arrives for dinner. As Masha walks into the kitchen, Vera watches Sergey with an intensity that makes him uncomfortable. He asks why she's staring, but gets no answer. Masha pulls fish from the refrigerator and places it on the dining table. Vera's reaction is immediate and visceral. She orders Masha to remove it. When her daughter hesitates, Vera grabs the plate herself, walks to the trash bin, and throws the entire fish away. Both young people stare at her, confused. Sergey demands an explanation. Vera's voice is steady but strained. I had a feeling we couldn't eat it. Something wasn't right. The silence becomes heavy. Sergey insists the fish was perfectly fine. Vera shakes her head firmly. I felt it was poisoned. Masha watches her mother carefully, as if sensing an unspoken secret. Nobody eats. Nobody moves. 3 days later, Vera walks into the kitchen. Her cat lies on the floor, motionless. It had eaten from the same fish she threw away. Can a mother really sense danger? Or is paranoia just the beginning of something darker? Days have passed since the cat's death. Masha sits across from her mother at the kitchen table. How much longer will you be affected by this? Masha asks, her tone measured. It was just a cat, not a person. Vera's response is quiet but firm. It was my pet, and someone tried to poison us. The words hang in the air like smoke. Masha leans back, skeptical. Mom, you can't actually feel things. Maybe the fish was just spoiled. To prove her point, Masha pulls out a deck of cards. Guess this one. Vera concentrates. Queen of Hearts. Masha flips it over. Correct. Now this one. Vera hesitates. 7 of Clubs. Wrong. And this one, wrong again. There's challenge in Masha's gesture. In Vera's eyes, there's doubt that won't dissolve. The daughter watches her mother with something between concern and suspicion, as if testing whether intuition is real or just the first crack in sanity. The next day, Vera walks down the street. The feeling starts slowly. Someone is watching her. She looks back. There's no one there. But the feeling doesn't go away. Vera waits at the bus stop. A young man points to an empty seat. The bus arrives at that exact moment. Everyone boards except her. When she's alone again, the sensation returns. Cold and constant, like breath on the back of her neck. Later, Vera arrives at the school where she teaches. She meets her friend from the laboratory, a woman with worry lines deepening by the second. They've stolen chemicals from the lab, her friend says quietly, glancing around. Enough to poison half a city. Vera's face drains of color. Who took them? Nobody knows. Security is investigating, but the woman trails off. Vera's hands begin to tremble. The poisoned fish wasn't an isolated incident. The dead cat wasn't a coincidence. Someone has access to lethal substances, and the threat is real. Documented, verified. She doesn't wait for more details. Vera grabs her bag and rushes out of the school, her footsteps echoing in the empty hallway. Vera bursts through her apartment door. In the kitchen, Masha is about to serve herself food. Vera lunges forward and rips the pot from her daughter's hands. When fear takes over, nowhere feels safe, not even your own home. Vera stands in her kitchen, breathing hard. Masha holds the empty pot, confused. Mom, what are you doing? The lab was robbed, Vera says, her voice shaking. Chemicals, poisons, someone took them. Okay, but what does that have to do with us? Vera's eyes are wild now. Someone wants to poison me. Don't you see? The cat, the fish, it's all connected. Before Masha can respond, Vera opens the pantry and starts pulling everything out. Packages, jars, leftovers. Mom, stop! I'm hungry! Vera moves to the refrigerator, throwing out milk, vegetables, containers of food. Nobody is trying to hurt us, Masha pleads. We'll eat at a cafe, Vera says, not looking at her daughter. Masha's voice turns cold. And if someone really wanted to poison us, would a cafe protect us? Vera freezes. She turns slowly to look at her daughter. That question opens a crack. A new suspicion begins to form, this one aimed at Masha herself. At the school, Vera's colleague speaks with another teacher. I saw someone enter the lab that day, he says. I can describe them. The description matches Masha perfectly. Paranoia doesn't live in one place. It follows you everywhere, like a shadow you can't outrun. Unable to eat at home, Vera walks through the city streets. She stops at a food cart and orders a cheese bread. The vendor hands it to her with a smile that lingers too long. Vera takes the bread to a nearby bench and sits down. She unwraps it slowly. The smell is normal. The bread looks fresh, but when she glances up, the vendor is still watching her. The woman's eyes are fixed on Vera, unblinking. Vera's stomach tightens. She places the bread back on the bench, stands up and walks away quickly. quickly without looking back. The next morning, she's in bed next to Sergei. They talk about Masha. She thinks I've lost my mind. Vera says quietly that I'm imagining someone is trying to poison me. Sergei kisses her forehead. Let me make you coffee. You'll feel better? He gets up and returns with a cup. He shows her the sealed package. See? Unopened. Safe. He opens a bottle of milk in front of her. Fresh. Nobody's touched it. Vera watches him prepare everything. She trusts him. She drinks the coffee. Seconds later, pain explodes in her stomach. Vera convulses on the bed, gasping for air. Sergei screams her name, frozen in panic. The fear she's been carrying isn't paranoia anymore. It's real. Sometimes the truth is worse than the mystery, and sometimes it's a relief. Vera has recovered from the poisoning. She goes to Sergei's workplace, needing answers. I'm glad you're okay, Sergei says, relief evident in his voice. I have a friend, a detective. He can help us find out who's doing this. Vera agrees, though hesitantly. The detective meets with her in a small office. He asks about recent events. They discuss the cat, the fish, the coffee. The fish might have just been spoiled, the detective suggests, and the coffee. Vera hands him the jar she uses regularly. The detective opens it, sniffs, and his expression changes. He checks the lot number on the bottom. This lot was contaminated, he says carefully. Poisoned at the factory. It's not personal, it's a random act. Some lunatic targeting multiple people. Vera exhales for what feels like the first time in days. It wasn't someone hunting her specifically, just terrible luck. Later, she and Sergei sharing a tangerine. There's relief in the air, fragile but real. Then Sergei suddenly grabs his stomach. His face contorts in pain. He starts convulsing. Vera screams. She spits out the fruit, vomiting in terror. Sergei stops shaking. He looks up at Vera and starts laughing. It's a joke, he says. Relax. But the trust between them just shattered into 1,000 pieces. What if the danger isn't what you eat, but what you wear? The next day, Vera meets again with her colleague from the lab. The woman's face is grave. Another chemical has disappeared. She says, this one is different. How? It's applied to fabric. When it touches skin, it burns. Slowly. Vera feels ice in her veins. The threat has evolved. It's not in food anymore. It's in clothing, in towels, in sheets, anything that touches the body. She rushes home. In the apartment, Masha is doing laundry. She's on the phone laughing while loading clothes into the washing machine, including several of Vera's garments. Vera stands in the doorway, watching. Masha pours detergent into the compartment, still chatting casually. She tosses the empty detergent bag into the trash and walks out of the room. The moment Masha is gone, Vera runs to the trash bin. She dumps it out frantically, searching through the contents. Mom, what are you doing? Masha has returned, standing in the doorway with her arms crossed. Vera doesn't answer. The house has become a chessboard where every move feels like a trap. Later, Vera searches every corner of the apartment. Drawers, shelves, closets. Then, while hanging clothes on the line, she sees it, a test tube on a shelf. Inside, traces of white powder. Vera takes the test tube to Sergei. Her hands shake as she shows it to him. I think it's Masha, she says. Sergei's face hardens. I don't believe she's capable of that. You're being paranoid. Then explain this. Vera holds up the tube. Sergei stares at it, speechless. Finally, he nods. Give it to me. I'll take it to the detective. We'll know for sure. Vera hands it over, a small weight lifting from her chest. They set the tube down on a table while they talk. Someone walks by. Neither of them notices. A foot comes down on the tube. The glass breaks. The person mistakes it for trash and tosses it into a garbage bin. When Sergei goes to retrieve it, the bin has already been emptied. The evidence is gone. That night, in a dumpster across the city, rats scurry through the trash. They find the broken tube and lick the remaining powder. Within seconds, they collapse. Dead! The next day, Sergei meets with Vera. He lies smoothly. The detective analyzed it. It was harmless. Just old lab supplies. Vera feels crushing guilt for suspecting her daughter. She agrees to see a psychiatrist. But after her first session, the doctor gets into his car and a truck slams into him at full speed. What if the person trying to destroy you is you? Vera's colleague stands outside her apartment with others from the school. They're worried about her. That's when they notice the truck that hit the psychiatrist. It belongs to Sergei. And when they see Sergei himself, they recognize him immediately. He was the one who entered the lab the day of the theft, not Masha. Him. Inside the psychiatric clinic, Vera watches from her window. She sees Masha walking down the street. Sergei intercepts her and invites her into his truck. Vera panics. She takes a taxi and follows them to a cafe. She sits at a distance watching the two young people laugh and talk, sharing a connection that excludes her. Jealousy bites slowly. Meanwhile, her colleague meets with Sergei and Masha to explain what the doctor discovered before the accident. Vera has low self-esteem. He says carefully, she feels too old to be with you, Sergei. That insecurity created a split personality. The other personality tried to end her life by poisoning her food. Masha's face goes pale. When Vera was lucid, she remembered the poisoning as something that happened to her, not something she did. Sergei swallows hard. She might try try again. We need to find her. They find Vera on a rooftop standing at the edge. The wind pulls at her clothes. Sergei runs toward her, shouting her name, but he's 1 second too late. She falls.